The man went to get his photo taken for a driver's license, but as soon as the camera flashed, he instinctively turned his head, leaving even the photographer confused. After that, he went to book his driving test, but they told him the next available appointment was 5 weeks away. Without saying a word, he pulled out some cash and slid it under the counter. The woman looked around and quickly took the money. The next second, she told him there was an opening for next week. She even gave him a learner's permit. The man smiled because at his age, he wasn't trying to learn how to drive. He needed a legal ID so he could open a bank account in his own name and start a new life. A few days later, it was time for his driving test. He arrived at the test center in his black luxury Lincoln Navigator and greeted the examiner with a smile. But the examiner stayed strict and serious the entire time. As soon as the test began, the man got nervous and accidentally turned on the wipers instead of the turn signal. The examiner was watching every little thing he did, but he had no idea who this old man driving such an expensive car really was. At first, the man drove calmly and followed every rule. He carefully completed every part of the test. Before long, they reached the final intersection. The examiner was impressed with his driving and figured he would easily pass. But then everything suddenly changed. The man slammed on the gas and took the examiner on a wild chase through the streets like something straight out of an action movie. The masked attackers in the car ahead panicked. They quickly turned onto another street and tried to escape, but the next second, the man slammed his car straight into theirs. At this point, he didn't care about the examiner anymore. His eyes were locked on the attackers. He wanted to know who had the nerve to order a hit on him. Using a red light to their advantage, the attackers hid their car behind a truck and somehow escaped, but the man had already seen their license plate number. He used the blood from the injured examiner's forehead to write the number on his windshield so he wouldn't forget it. That's when the examiner realized the ordinary old man sitting beside him wasn't just some guy taking a driving test. He was actually someone extremely dangerous and mysterious. When the real gangster arrived at the police station, he gave the officers nothing useful. The police asked if he remembered the color, model, or anything else about the car that attacked them. He smiled and said everything happened so fast that he couldn't remember anything. Then he added that maybe the attack wasn't even meant for him. Maybe it was meant for the driving instructor because he'd probably failed too many people. After hearing that, there wasn't much the police could do. There were no security cameras on the streets in that area because of local privacy rules, so the police had no real evidence to investigate. But the man already had someone in mind. He suspected the son of a New York mafia boss had ordered the attack. After all, he was the one who had sent him to this city in the first place, and now maybe he wanted him gone. To find out the truth, he called him and asked if one of his men had ordered the hit, but all he got were vague answers over the phone, so he decided he would find the truth himself. After that, he showed up at the hospital with a bouquet of flowers for the injured driving instructor. He calmly arranged the flowers in a vase. The instructor didn't look at him the same way anymore. Now there was fear in his eyes, but also respect. The man turned off the TV. Then he pulled up a chair and sat right beside the hospital bed. His silent presence alone made the instructor nervous. After briefly asking how he was doing, the man got straight to the point. He pulled out a greeting card with $0 inside. The instructor was too nervous to take the money, but he was also too scared to refuse it. Then the man said, "These are the first 4 digits of the license plate. Ask your friends at the DMV to find out who owns that car." Once they found the right person, things became much easier. The instructor's contacts at the DMV quickly tracked down the suspicious vehicle.